Another weekend of Championship football has passed, which means it's my Championship review for match day 17 this time for the Championship. This review is going to be very edited and very short, I think, because I am really busy right now and I'm uploading this a day later than I normally am because I've just been busy. I'm spending less time on games than I normally would. I hope you guys will still enjoy it, that you're hearing my opinion of what went on the weekend. In terms of score predictions, none of you left a correct prediction. Not many of you actually left a score prediction, so there weren't much of an opportunity for you to get a correct prediction. Only Johan got 3 correct predictions. That's the highest amount I've got this year. I think I only got 3 predictions once so far this year. I think this is the second time I've got 3 correct predictions. Derby Preston was right, Fulham Rangers was right, and Stoke and Wigan were all right. So without any further ado, a lot went on in the Championship weekend, and we've got some midweek fixtures to go through in the second part of this video. Let's go through for what we learned in this weekend of Championship football. So the West London derby, Fulham and Queen's Park Rangers, ended as a 2-1 home victory to Fulham. A result that I clearly did expect since I got it right. Queen's Park Rangers actually had a really fantastic start defensively. Fulham were all over the place. Jordan Hugo only just managed to get his ball across the line. However, some great individual play from Adoy managed to cross the ball to Camara, who played up front because Mitrovic got a ban, I didn't realise. He managed to score, and he scored again in the second half. And it's a poor error from Joe Lumley. He passed it straight to Kearney, which set Camara onside, practically 1-on-1, and Fulham finished them off. A game that both teams need to improve defensively. I think Fulham should have been more convincing with their quality that they do have. Queen's Park Rangers, I think, were a little bit flat in this game. Both teams had chances to score, but both sides really struggled defensively. So very similar sides. Fulham will be very happy that it's a win. They're now in the playoffs because of this result. I think they'll be happy, but Queen's Park Rangers, they need to sort out their form as soon as they can. So the early game, Charlton and Cardiff, ended as a 2-2 draw. A very entertaining game, actually. And it was definitely a game of 2 halves. Charlton bossed the first half, who managed to be 2-0 up, gaining into half-time. Conor Gallagher managed to score. Fantastic play from him. And Jonathan Lecco managing to score the second. Cardiff were absolutely all over the place in the first half. They were really as bad as I've seen them so far this season. But Neil Harris was an absolute genius for bringing on Lee Tomlin because he was heavily involved in Cardiff's comeback. Cardiff started pretty well in the second half. They won a penalty, but Junior Hoilett missed it because his penalty was very tame. It went practically straight at Phillips. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang managed to score his first goal so far this season. A pretty simple goal from him. The second goal from Lee Tomlin managed to wrap up the comeback, and they managed to get a draw in the end. And I'd say, apart from that, Cardiff were fending the ascendancy. It was pretty poor for me from Charlton, especially at home, that they managed to let a 2-0 lead go, that they didn't control the second half. They really allowed Cardiff to get back into it. But Cardiff, I've seen some encouraging signs. I think they will be okay in the next coming games. Blackburn and Barnsley was very entertaining. Ended as a 3-2 home victory to Blackburn. A game where lots of goals were scored, which was to be expected. Both teams' defences have been a little bit fragile so far this season. Bradley Dack put Blackburn ahead, with Connor Chaplin managed to equalise in the second half. Then Stuart Downing, of all people, managed to put Blackburn ahead, a very unlikely goal scorer. Cooley Woodrow then managed to make it 2-2, and I thought Barnsley were going to do well to get a point out of it again. But Bradley Dack, the man on fire, managed to make it 3-2 to Blackburn. It was a game where I think it was a little bit evenly contest, but the thing is with Barnsley, the same errors are occurring. It wasn't a convincing performance by Blackburn, but it's a win, and they'll take it for sure. Brentford and Reading ended as a 1-0 home victory, a game where not much went on. It was clear that both these sides were evenly matched, and they were really in good form. Neither side wanted to lose the game. Brentford managed to maintain their home count, with Ollie Watkins managing to score the only goal in the game. Not the most thrilling game in the world, and trust me, there's even one game that was even less thrilling than that. But not that thrilling, but Brentford will be very happy with the performance and happy that they've got 3 points out of it. Reading, I don't think it's going to affect them too much. I think it was just a little bit of an off day from them. They're away from home as well. I think they'll be right up for it for a home game against Leeds. I'm really excited to see this game. And here comes the next game with not much thrill with it. Bristol City 0, Nottingham Forest 0. I was almost half expecting it. If I look back at my score predictions, if there was one other result I would have given them apart from 1-1, it would have been a 0-0 draw, because I think a very similar game happened at Ashton Gate when they played against Swansea, where they did have a few chances, but they just ultimately were lacking the confidence. The game really practically came to life when Ryan Yates got a red card, a really silly challenge, and I think Bristol City were then a little bit in the ascendancy, but they really did not make the extra man count, and unfortunately for them, they didn't manage to get any 3 points out of it. I think Forest will be happy with an away point. They didn't really trouble Bristol City too much in my opinion. And Derby and Preston then is a 1-0 home victory. This was another score prediction I got correctly. For me, Preston just don't do well against teams that they don't have really good records with. They just seem to show a little bit of the same characteristics they've had in all seasons. But Derby though, what a transformation this was. They played their best football they have had under Philip Cocu by a long way. Bielik was terrific, Forsyth was terrific. Everyone was terrific, even when Waghorn was brought on very early on. He proved to be the difference, scoring the only goal in the game. Preston did have a couple of chances. They did hit the post one time, but apart from that, Preston were quite quiet in this game. And they'll need to definitely have a better performance against Hull. But for Derby, if they can continue this, they can have a really good run of form leading up to Christmas. Huddersfield and Birmingham ended as a 1-1 draw. Game that I sort of half expected that could have happened. Fraser Campbell put Huddersfield ahead. I think it was deserved based on what I saw. Then Birmingham got back into it with Roberts managing to get Birmingham's goal. I think a draw was the fair result in the end. I wouldn't say not the best game in the world, but a very evenly contested game. And I think Huddersfield might be a little bit disappointed they didn't get 3 points at home, but at the same time, it's tremendous improvement for what they have were under Jan Siver, that's for certain. Birmingham, I don't think this result will trouble them too much. I think they'll be okay going into the next game. A very close game happened at the Kenilworth Stadium. Luton managed to lose by 2-1, and to be honest, in the second half, Luton were absolutely terrific, and they got punished with Patrick Bamford managing to score Leeds' first goal, but then they were rewarded with Collins managing to get an equaliser, and they were in the ascendancy. But a sucker punch for Luton in the 90th minute. Matty Pearson scores an own goal, which manages to get Leeds' victory. The way that Leeds played to get a victory wasn't pretty, but it did manage to get the 3 points in the end, and it could be a very important 3 points since Preston did lose this weekend. So they're now in the automatic promotion places, and they'll be very hoping that they can get a victory against Reading in midweek so that they can continue the momentum and potentially catch West Brom if they can. Luton, they were quite unlucky in this game, I think, but they need to show that same desire away from home, because eventually they will be rewarded for their efforts, but it now sees them in the relegation zone and they need to react quickly. And the final prediction I got correct was Stoke 2, Wigan 1. And it was in fact Wigan that went ahead in this game with Sam Morsey managing to score the goal. But then in the second half, Michael Neal tweaked a few things and the comeback was on, with Bud managing to make it 1-1. And Marabian Diouf, which has been a name that I've not heard for a long time, but eventually he has scored his first goal in a long time, make it 2-1. I'm seeing a different mentality with Stoke. They are playing to win. With Wigan, I'm a little bit worried that they're not scoring enough goals. And defensively, I think they probably should have been a little bit better against Stoke with the 2 times they did score. But Wigan do have the quality. I think, I'm not too sure if they'll stay up. Coming at the end of the season, they're going to have to put some really big results behind them if they're going to prove me wrong. With Stoke, the season is almost starting now. It is 2 wins out of 2 for Michael O'Neill. And I think Stoke will start climbing up the table, especially if they continue with that great mentality. Probably one of the most shocking games of the weekend. Millwall managed to get a 1-0 away victory against Swansea. And Swansea, what's going on with you at the moment? I mean, I did say in my predictions video that I've not been convinced with Swansea at home, and it really did show in this game. Jed Wallace managed to get Millwall's only goal in the game, managing to make it 1-0. Just seemed really bland, really toothless for Swansea. But Millwall were absolutely terrific. Gary Rowett, I think, is doing a fantastic job with Millwall at the moment. They've definitely got the managerial bounce coming through. The only question mark is how long will it last? If Gary Rowett has a poor run of form, will we see signs of when he was at Stoke, where he will just ultimately struggle to put any wins together? But I hope not, because I think he's a really good championship manager. Swansea, they need to fix this form soon. They're going to eventually lose in the race to not only get promoted, but potentially at this rate, even in the playoffs. So they've got to really fix their form quickly. Multiple games saw West Brom beating Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1. Harold Robson-Kanu gained the first goal, but then Sheffield Wednesday had a fight back in the second half. Stephen Fletcher managed to score a penalty. Charlie Austin then scored a penalty for West Brom. There was controversy in the game as well. In the 92nd minute, Liam Palmer managed to get sent off for Sheffield Wednesday really silly for how he did get sent off in the end. But overall, West Brom would take the win. Once again, like Leeds, they didn't make it pretty, and they really made it hard for themselves, but they managed to get the win. With Sheffield Wednesday, it was an okay performance, I think a little bit below par, but they did pose a little bit of a challenge, and they could have got a winner in the end, but unfortunately for them, they didn't do that, and they lost it. So I think Sheffield Wednesday do have potential. They just got to ride their luck in a few games and to form. And the final game happened on Sunday. Middlesbrough 2, Hull 2. Once again, a game of two halves. Middlesbrough were 2-0 up in the first half, which I could not believe my eyes when I saw it. I anticipated that Middlesbrough were not going to make it easy for Hull, but I did not think they were going to play as well in the first half, and they did. And I'll be thinking, where's that form been all season? Tavernier managed to score. Fletcher's goal was a fantastic team goal. It was seriously really good. But then Jarrod Bowen, what a player he is. He saved Hull City a point and ultimately denied Middlesbrough to get 3 points. This point has moved Middlesbrough out of the relegation zone, but they're still in a very precarious position. They've got a big game in midweek against bottom of the table Barnsley. If they don't win that, I think they'll be in serious danger, in my opinion. It's a really good opportunity for them to capitalise. With Hull, poor first half, but a really good second half. Very good counter-attacking side for what I see. Really good in the midfield. George Long, their goalkeeper, made some terrific saves, especially in the first half, to keep the scoreline down. And I think overall, Hull would take it as a positive, especially gaining an away point. But you would feel that maybe with Middlesbrough managing to get down to 10 men pretty early on, with Johnson getting sent off. Really silly tackle, in my opinion. That Hull didn't make it count. But in the end, 2-2, I don't think will be a bad result for Hull, but it's a worse result for Middlesbrough, and John Woodgate will be under tremendous pressure, despite the fantastic first half that his team had. So that's my review of Matchday 17. Here is the table as it stands. Right now, I'm going to go through my midweek predictions, and they will be on the screen right now. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. I know I've not made a description why I picked each prediction. If you want me to, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll tell you why I predicted this for your team. Trying really hard to try and get a score predictions and a review video out every week. It's proving to be really difficult for me at the moment, and I did set an aim that I want to try and do it every single week, and I'm gonna try and do it. So I hope you guys really enjoy this video. It would really be appreciative for me. Please make sure you do give the video a like if you want to see more championship content. Please make sure you share it with friends so we can grow the channel, and make sure you do subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of my videos. But apart from that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.